Welcome to the first episode of the DOS Sessions. In this episode we're going to have a look at a 1988 game called Lombard RAC Rally. We're going to focus on the PC version in this video, and that came out in 1989. The game was released for the Atari ST and the Commodore Amiga in 1988, and the PC version followed a year later. The PC version uses EGA graphics, which is limited to 16 colours, but for the time it was still actually fairly decent, but not as good as what the Commodore Amiga could do. There was also a CGA version for the PC, which is limited to 4 colours, and that version isn't very good, but we'll take a quick look at it later on, as well as have a quick play of the Amiga version just for comparison. We can see that the introduction graphics on the screen are actually really quite nicely done. Yes, that is the introduction to the game, so let's actually get on and play the game. But yeah, the game basically you have to complete different stages before you can complete the full Lombard RAC Rally. So let's just have a look at one of these. We've got a demo mode. Let's have a look. We'll start on the Harrogate to Telford. So here we are. You can see the graphics, quite nice. Well, for the time anyway. Late 80s. This isn't actually too bad. Whoa, that's my fault. Wasn't concentrating there. Let's get back to the game. So yeah, you can see if you go off course, if you crash them, you lose quite a bit of time. The main skill of the game mainly seems to be changing gears, like getting the gear changes, timing just right. The gear change is actually rather annoying in this game, because to change down you have to brake at the same time. You hit the spacebar to change gear, whichever gear you want. And so yeah, the graphics were not amazing, but for PC standard in 88, 89, it's actually not that bad. And if we look at the Amiga version later on, it's basically the same as this, just with a few more colours. It originally came out with the Atari ST, so I suspect all the graphics were originally created for that. But yeah, it's sort of a bit of sensor speed, it's not too bad, get around the corner quite well. On the left hand side you can see a little map that shows you your progress and map of the course, but if you take your eye off that and look at it, you end up crashing, so it's not that much use. Another annoyance of the game, it doesn't actually tell you what gear you're in. You have to look at the gear stick down the bottom hand corner, but it's not always that obvious. I can tell I'm in top gear, but I like the steering wheel movement. That's a really nice feature. You can see the driver's arms will slow down. See the driver's arm move with it. You can see if you go off road, it sort of slows you down quite a bit as well. I probably should have changed down a bit there, but oh well. We've got full speed back again. Almost finished. Let's not go too fast around this corner. Oh, brake. Oh. Yeah, I need to slow down now. I need to... I'm trying to change gear. It's sort of... That's it. Let's try and get this lap done. Change gear. There we are. Done. That's the first lap done. Now second lap on the stage. See the graphics are changed here now. Got like a muddy track. Yeah, the sound again, it's PC beeper, so the sound gets very irritating after a while. It's just the same kind of hum of the engine, but it's always quite difficult to make a PC speaker sound good. But yeah, this isn't too bad at all really. There's definitely some playability. It's actually quite an enjoyable game, just very difficult. Whoa. Yeah, let's change it down a bit. Oh, I want to change down. That's it. Come on. Yeah, I tried to change down there, but it's just sometimes it's a bit fiddly. But yeah. Anyway, I'll skip onto this a bit and we'll come back to this level in a bit. Yeah, almost finished this round now. I think we'll come into another round in a minute. Whoa, I see another car there. What car is that? Oh, can't see. Oh, Peugeot 205 DTI by the look of it. We've got a night lap now. Yeah, it's quite hard to see in the dark. Like the sort of track just sort of disappears in front of you. Like the draw rate is quite poor, but again, that's a limitation of the hardware at the time. I think the minimum requirements of this were very low. It's basically just an IBM PC. I think it needed 512K of RAM. And it would run on an XT, although it did say a 386 or a 286 or 386 is recommended. But I'm emulating this on a 386. This is probably what I first played on the time when I first played this in the early 90s. I had a 386. And this game actually ran really well on that. There's some games I had which would run but were a bit choppy. With this, it could handle a 386 quite nicely. Oh, I've just crashed. But yeah, it's quite hard to see in the dark, like I've just mentioned. Oh, let's have a look. Try and get around the bend. I took my eye off him over a second. I had to look at the progress, and then I just crashed. You really have to just keep your eye on the road. Anyway, let's get forward until we come to the end of this lap. Almost finished this one. So that's actually completed around there. That's not too bad. So when we come back, we've done really, really bad. We did it in 6 minutes, and yeah, we've not won anything. We've unplaced. We did that badly. We've not won any money, and we had 9 crashes. Oh well. But now we're coming to the workshop. This is a feature of the game. We can actually see the damage, so you can see like the engine, suspension, bodywork is all around 60% damage. When that gets to 100%, then the car's no longer drivable. I'm not sure if a single item has to get to 100%. I'm not sure, but we've got the money available to fix anything. But what we can do is a TV interview where you can actually earn some money. So let's see if we can actually make some money. Bear in mind, you can only do 1 TV interview per game, or per lap, I think it is. So let's just see what we can do. See if we can. The Audi, I don't know. I'm guessing 5 cylinders. That's what Audi were famous for. What is the alternative route? Define a system. I have no idea. The run card, no idea. How many times has the Mini won the rally? 5 times maybe with the how to go down CCC. Oh, part of the 1987 was nothing. What was the name of the USA rally? I don't know. See if we won any money there. I didn't do very well. Oh, we've won £40. See if we can actually fix anything for that. I doubt it. Oh, can we fix? Oh, that's quite good. So you press spacebar and then you can fix like 1 or 2. The bodywork. Yeah, let's try and get the suspension down to 50%. And the bodywork down. Yeah, that's quite a nice feature. So we can hopefully. Got £2 left. Yeah, that should hopefully maybe get us through the next round. So think about that. You can buy things like headlights and stuff like that, which would be quite useful. But I think at this point, it's better just to spend the money on actually making the car drivable. So let's come out of this, and we'll do the Telford to Harrogate lap. Yeah, so each game has 3 stages by the look of it. So we'll do Telford to Harrogate. Have a quick look at that. Yeah, you'll start to notice that a lot of the graphics all look very similar. Got some hay on the side, that's quite nice. It's a bit different to the other laps. The trees are a little bit different. Whoa. Let's see if we can get this. Yeah, I'll skip forward till the end of this lap because otherwise it's just nice Peugeot. Oh, couldn't get past the car. The road seemed to get very narrow. I just couldn't get past that car. Yeah, it seems like you sort of hit the collision, not that great collision detection. That the road, the car's a bit too wide from the track. I think that's the problem. Like your car takes up almost the entire track. You even catch that Peugeot up. Oh, not that again, but it's going down. yeah, I'll speak to you again at the end of this lap. We're almost coming to the end of this one now. Yeah, the engine noise really drives you mad. That's that lap finished. Yeah, I would have liked a bit more variety. There is a little bit more. I'll show you that later on if we can get onto later stages. But I think the game only comes with Darrow. Yeah, just that the road just sort of disappeared on me there. You can see on the left hand side as well with clock sticking down. One tells you how long you've been on this particular stage, and the other clock is the rally time itself. But again, I couldn't see that bend. It just, yeah, the dashboard's quite nicely drawn. You can sort of see like dials indicate the speed and the revs, but you can't really use that as an indicator of the speed. It's could do with a separate speed indicator and a gear indicator. Oh, change gear. Yeah, the car's just slightly too fat for the road. I think that's the issue with the difficulty with this. Oh yeah, the car's too badly damaged. Now that's a really nice graphic. So yeah, the car's too badly damaged to continue. So that's the end of the game. But yeah, that's nicely done graphic. I'll speak to you about some other laps in a little bit. We'll have a look at some of the other levels if I can get onto them. So let's see if we can just have a quick look at another lap. Have we done Carlisle? So how we get a quick look at that? Yeah, the scenery is at least a little bit different on this lap. I don't know what this brown thing is on the left. Is that supposed to be a building or is it a hill? I don't know. It must be a building. I don't know. No, it can't be. It must be. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. It's quite strange. We're obviously on sort of cliff or... And of course the length of the lap isn't very realistic. I think it was this Carlisle to Harrogate. In reality that must be at least about what, 80, 100 miles. Yeah, you're supposed to complete this in a few minutes. Yeah, that's not very realistic. I think on the modern rally games the timing's obviously a lot more realistic, but then the games are much bigger. Oh, brake. Staying down. Yeah, but yeah, this is at least a bit different anyway. This lap, the graphics are slightly different, makes it a bit more interesting. I'll come back to you when we finish this lap. Another lap now. You can see this one's quite foggy, bit annoying. I think each lap, yeah, I suppose it might not be full length when you're doing laps of, because the idea is you're doing laps of Carlisle to Harrogate, but just only a few laps of different sections of the route, I suppose. Yeah, you can see you could buy headlights if you had the money, which would really help, I think, on this round. Incidentally, talking about that, the damage doesn't seem to affect the handling at all, so it's like on more modern games. Let's get into first gear. On more modern games, the car sort of gradually gets worse to handle the more damage it gets, where this, it just seems to be game over, like your car handles just as it always did, then all of a sudden it's game over. That's as far as I can tell anyway, I might be wrong. Really hard on this foggy, I can't really see where I'm going. Oh. Of course in real life you'd have a navigator as well, sort of saying like hard left or whatever. And in more modern games you'd actually have that spoken out for you, so it will say like turn left or... Oh, nice animation when you crash, I like that. Yeah, so that was the PC version. Yeah, I like the PC version. I think it was actually one of the better rally games on the PC for the time. Nice use of EGA graphics, and I don't think many racing games had graphics as good as that, even though VGA had just come out. Yeah, I think that was a good game. Anyway, looking at the Amiga version, you can see straight away here we've got the introduction screen, we've got better use of colours. The Amiga had, I think, 256 colours out of a palette of 32,000 on the original Amiga chipset, which this would have been designed for. Most people probably would have played this on the Amiga 500, which by 88 had just sort of launched in the UK and became quite popular. Especially by 89, a lot of people in the UK would have had Amiga 500s. So this would have probably sold quite well in the UK. But yeah, the introduction sound is nice, much better in the PC speaker. But let's just have a look at a track and see what it's actually like. So yeah, so now let's have a look at the Harrogate to Carlisle track, see what that's like. So let's have a look at that now. Yeah, you can see straight away better use of colours here. We've got, I think the Amiga can only play 32 colours at a time, at least the original chipset, but that's still twice as many as VGA. Yeah, it's just a bit more detailed, just looks a bit nicer, but other than that, it's very similar to the PC version. Like I said, I think I've said before, I suspect the Atari ST was the original. Then they made this Amiga version, which was just a straight port. Both machines use the same processor, so it would have been very easy just to port with. And looking at the graphics, I don't think they fully utilised the graphics chip of the Amiga on this. I think the processor is probably doing a lot of the work here. But yeah, it's better in the PC version. Playability wise, it's a bit easier than the PC version, just seemed to respond a bit better. But other than that, it's all very similar, and with dashboard's nice, you can see a little bit more detail in that. But let's just have another look at another track.
3, 2, 1, go!
Yeah, we're on a different track now, and again you can see it's just, there's not much in it really between the Amiga and the PC version. The sound is obviously much better. We've got synthesized speech here on the start of the tracks, which is a lot better. But other than that, it's a decent game, but the Amiga did have a lot of good racing games around this point, so in that sense I think the PC version was probably better in that sense, because there wasn't many good racing games for the PC, where the Amiga has quite a lot at this point. So yeah, we'll just have a look at the PC CGA version next. Yeah, so the CGA version obviously going to be a lot more limited. We've only got 4 colours and the whole palette. The resolution is exactly the same, but you can see this is really, really garish, typical of CGA games at the time. Make quite a bit of use of differing, I think, to try and just balance the colours out a little bit. So actually, ironically, this game was probably a little bit harder to program than the EGA version because of the use of differing. But yeah, it's not very nice, is it? The cyan dashboard is really, really garish. But other than that, it's exactly the same as the EGA game as you'd expect. I think they've done quite a good job with what they had to work with. You know, it's not the developer's fault that CGA only supports 4 colours in RGB mode, which is what most people used it for. But yeah, it's still playable. It's just, it makes the EGA version look a lot better, and this just looks pathetic compared to the Amiga version. So yeah, I just thought I'd just quickly show you the CGA version. Again, when this came out in '89, there would have still been quite a lot of computers that only use CGA. There is also, apparently, this supports Hercules as well, which is mono, but I imagine that's just, it can emulate EGA, so imagine the Hercules version would just be black and white. But yeah, anyway, yeah, I thought that was quite interesting just to have a look at the CGA version. This is quite nicely, we've done quite a good job with this screen. Before I go, there's just a few things that I've forgotten to mention. As far as I can tell, this game was the first officially branded rally game on the PC. It had permission from Lombard RAC to use the name. It was developed by a game studio in Manchester called Red Hat Software. It was actually originally a printers, and they used to print a lot of the packaging for other computer games. At some point in the early 80s, they started to create games themselves. They specialised in Atari products and even had a shop in the same premises. The developers had the idea for the game while having lunch in a pub and the Lombard RAC Rally was being shown on the TV. They had a hunch that it would make a good game. It was published by a company called Mandarin Software in Macclesfield. This was the game publishing division of Europress at the time. They actually produced quite a few of the well-known computer magazines. The game turned out to be first in a long list of officially titled rally games for the PC, including Network Q RAC Rally in 1994 and the Network Q RAC Rally Championship in 1996, and so on. There was also an Atari 8-bit version called Speedrun. This was a stripped-down and simplified version of Lombard RAC Rally. So yeah, final thoughts are, I think it's actually a decent game for the PC, especially when it came out in '89. There wasn't that many good racing games. This was actually quite playable. Yeah, the graphics compared to the Amiga version and the ST version do look a bit, they're not as good, but yeah, they've done a good job. The actual game, it plays well, decent turn of speed. I did actually emulate this original, well, on an XT, which was the minimum requirements, but the game was barely playable. I found to sort of get decent sort of speed out of it, you really do need a 386, but by the time this sort of came out in '89, yeah, a lot of people would have had higher end 286s or 386 by then anyway. So, yeah, they would have had quite a big market in the UK because I think there was enough PCs that were just starting to become quite affordable, especially the Amstrad. So, yeah, I really enjoyed playing the game. It's a little bit difficult, as you've seen, but then that kind of makes the game more interesting. And I have actually got better at it the more I played. Some of the video footage on this was from the early attempts, so yeah, I'm better at it now. But yeah, thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you next time.